Hi, everybody. It's JJ Cross here from Four Sides of Cross Productions. And today I'm going to go through the first episode of Terminator Zero. I've been very excited about this project since I first heard about it. I'm really hoping they do it justice and not screw it up. There's only, well, most people agree only the first true Terminators were any good. I liked the third one, and admittedly, it wasn't as good as the other two. But this one has promising as we're going to slip away from the John Connor saga and just go into where they're going to go after somebody else into a different story. Anyway, let's dive into episode one called Model 101. Don't mind me if I look down a couple of times. I'm going to try to hide it with pictures, but I do have notes because, the memory is not as good as it used to be. All right, so we got the opening sequence. We're introduced to a character named Eco. She's hiding in what looks like a locker, and we notice that she only has 4 bullets left. So she seems very concerned, and I would be too, going after a Terminator with only 4 bullets. Next, we see the Terminator walking into the room with tons of dead bodies. It was a massacre here. You can see there was a battle and the humans lost. The Terminator comes up he finds one guy who's still alive. The guy pulls out a grenade saying F you, but the Terminator shoots him in many, many, many shots, way overkill to kill him before he does so. The Terminator then walks over and he sees a locker. He starts shooting on it, and classic misdirect. We find out that's not the locker that Eco is hiding in. She comes up jumping behind him, fires 3 shots, and takes cover. As the Terminator is turning around to shoot her, she notices the grenade on the ground and she shoots it and it explodes. Next comes a very cool action sequence. I won't tell you too much detail. You should check it out yourself because the animation looks awesome. It's a great little action sequence, though I do have one problem with it. Maybe it's a small problem, but I'm going to mention it anyway. At one point, Eco is swinging on a rope and the Terminator has her by the foot. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Terminators weigh a lot. So forget the fact that she's holding onto the rope while dangling with the Terminator hanging onto her foot. But she then reaches over to untie her shoes so the Terminator will fall. But again, now she's holding onto a rope with one hand with all this weight of the Terminator to undo her shoe. Okay, it's a little minor. We're coming to our first wondering. But okay, we're going to just go let that go. Of course, the Terminator falls and we see that the Terminator is not dead. It's for many stories, but you can't really kill one of these things. Now, what do I get to next? Okay, shoe problem. Now we go back into 1997. By the way, the Terminator sequence takes place in 2022. I think I forgot to mention that. Sorry. Anyway, so now we go into a character named Malcolm Lee. He's having a nightmare of what's going to happen, of Judgment Day, where the nuclear bombs explode. And now again, another good animated sequence, a little bit of gore, which I enjoy. And of course, we wake up, we find out that it was just a dream. We're going to get a little bit of foreshadowing as Malcolm says that soon his nightmare is going to be the truth. So we know something's happening there. A little foreshadowing. Okay, then we're introduced to Kenta. I'm sorry about these names. I have a hard enough time pronouncing American names, and these are Japanese. A lot of them are Japanese names, so I'm trying my best, and I apologize. Anyway, Kenta, it's his older son. We learn from a scene that he's very creative, like almost an inventor. He took some things like the microwave and the blender apart to put together a new nightlight for his brother Hiro, who's the youngest brother. You can see he's very talented and all that. The father, Malcolm, says that he has to leave to go to work, which upsets his son because it's a Saturday. Like, why are you going to work on a Saturday? Of course, yes, foreshadowing again. Malcolm Lee says someday you're going to understand, and he's sorry, but he really needs to do this. Now we get introduced to Misaki. She's out shopping for a Kimiko, which is a cat robot. So she's out shopping for it. She's in the place. She comes up to a robot worker. So I guess this is like the Terminator's great great grandfather or great grandfather. I'm not sure the before he got violent kind of stage. There's something I noticed here that I think is going to be foreshadowing for something else with Masika. Sorry. Um, it seems like the robot doesn't see her, so it's ignoring her when she's trying to ask a question. Another coworker comes up, helps her, and gives the explanation that this robot must be defective and the sensors are not working. But being a movie, you know, due to the writer, I'm assuming that this is foreshadowing that the robot didn't, it's not because of the sensor, it's because he couldn't see her for some reason, for reasons where I'm sure is going to come up later, or they'll completely drop the ball and I'm just making things up. The sensor is just broken. Okay, so then we're back to the house with Malcolm with his two sons, which is Kenta, which we already know. Hiro is the youngest son, and Rika is the daughter. He's complaining about the place being a mess while he's on the phone and everyone's being noisy. When Mika, God, hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Mika comes home, he's upset. He's like, I wanted you here an hour ago. And then he tells everyone he's got to go to work for the next couple of days. Rika is upset because she says, which I think there's going to be something more to it. But as of now, as what we know, she was upset because she wanted him to take him to the park the next day that he promised. And he's saying that he's sorry that he just can't do it because of work. Masika comes in and I think I already said that. She's very upset. He says, let's go to work. She shows that she got the Kanika cat robot. The children are very excited. Hiro and Rika are excited because they want to play with it. Kaneta is not well, he's excited because he wants to take it apart to see how it works. Obviously to build something else because he is an inventor. Malcolm is extremely upset about this. He doesn't want that thing in the house. He wants it. He wants her to bring it right back that day. And as he's leaving, he tells that he's going to call once he has a better idea of when he can get home. We also learned at this point when the two boys are playing with the cat, because Mazika said they can play with it for a little bit and then she'll return it. That the father does not allow robots at all inside their home. So again, he is showing that he probably knows something's up with Judgment Day and Skynet. Sorry, I was a little parched. Yeah, Kineta wants to take the car to power and see how it works. We have a little sad scene with Rika saying that she doesn't think it's because it's a robot that the father wants it out of the house so quickly. That it's because a cat, and we see a picture of the cat with I presume is her mother. But I did notice again, it might mean nothing, but it might be just more foreshadowing. They do a little close up of her rubbing her arm, and she has some sort of either birthmark or scar. I can't really tell, but I'm assuming that's going to come into play later on. So moving on. Okay, well, Malcolm's on the drive to his job. He's actually being driven. I was stopped at a red light. There's one of these robots that we saw earlier as a worker. This one seems like it's programmed to walk an old man. Anyway, when it gets almost across the street, the robot turns and looks at Malcolm with eyes glowing red, which upsets him, obviously. But he's cut off from his thoughts by the driver who's talking about, hey, there's a storm coming. And Malcolm's like, yeah, you have no idea. Okay, there's a robot walking a dog, and I think this can be considered abuse because it's kind of shaking the dog and all that. The dog runs away into the street. A car comes and gets into an accident, to avoid hitting the dog. The dog runs away, and that robot's going around calling the dog's name. Sorry, I didn't write down the dog's name. It's another hard name for me to pronounce, I'm assuming. We notice that the robot passes the car and looks in and sees that the driver's dead, but is not fazed by it. He looks around, he throws a flashlight on, and then continues on his way trying to find the dog. Now we're coming to something else that I don't know if it means something or doesn't mean something, but we got to look at a bunch of crows standing on a building across the street from Malcolm's work. One flies down and like as if it's going to get a closer look. And where Malcolm is and his driver is coming through, we see all these protesters, environmental protesters. Not the bad kind. These are good ones where all they do is protesting, holding signs, not doing anything stupid like painting on famous stuff or gluing their hands to cement, which is idiotic, and they're not blocking it. So I can deal with these protesters, these environmental protesters. Hey there, sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you know if you like my podcast and my short films, that I ask you to please check out my Patreon page, consider being a member, where you can get early access to some of my films, as well as some exclusive content that you will only find here. I also have a t-shirt website where I've created a bunch of different designs from either horror films or just horror artwork I have done. Both links will be down below, and I really appreciate if you would check them out. And thank you. Back to the show. So he gets in. We do have a little scene of something happening behind Malcolm, which I believe to tell the audience that no outside electronics are allowed in this building. We have a guy looks like he's holding a laptop. He's like, I can't even bring this in. The security guard's like, no outside. So I think that was more for the audience to let us know that they don't allow electronics inside this building, which we see is very secure. He comes in, he learns about a storm the other night. We'll talking just small talk, and they come to a door, him as his assistant, and it's one of those where you need two keys to open it, two people holding the keys, and you have to turn it at the same time in order to open it. So they open the outer door, and he goes in, and he says, no interruptions. So he goes in, and okay, so this is where we meet Kokorora, which I believe is played by Dawson. Hold on. I like this actress a lot, so I want to make sure, because I am a little tired. Was it Rosie Dawson? I'm pretty sure that, yep, Rosario Dawson. Okay, my apologies. Messing up your name. She plays this AI, which it looks like he's been talking with. The AI realizes like there's something wrong with Malcolm, and he admits, that he's afraid, and she's like, okay, what are you afraid of? And he's like, judgment. And then the whole room, it looks like it's something like in the Star Trek, the holodecks, where I guess all these things appear, and we see the city getting destroyed by a nuclear bomb, and we see all of that. Kokoro was designed by Malcolm because he wanted it to fight Skynet. He's saying that I believe that the next day is when Skynet comes online and will launch all the missiles that causes Judgment Day. And he designed Kokoro to fight against Skynet. But it seems there's a bit of a problem because Kokoro in the conversation saying, you designed me to fight Skynet to protect you, to save you, but what makes you think I will? So there we got a little kink in the armor. I guess he's going to have to convince Kokoro about why humans need to survive and why what Skynet's doing is wrong. Okay, so now we're back in 2022. Akio makes it back to the base. She sadly reports that she's the only survivor, but she did able to get this, looks like a little tube which holds information. So now they could look into see what Skynet's doing. The leader of this resistance base is called the Prophet, which I'm sure there'll be more things to learn as we go on why they call the Prophet. Next page. Oops, I kind of went the wrong way. I swear I'm not drinking. It's only water. Anyway, she comes to the mission. We learn that the machines has hit 5 resistance camps, and in those camps there have been no survivors. So the machines are up in their game, that they're coming down hard on them. So something needs to be planned and be done. Resistance learns that Skynet is about to send another Terminator back into time, into 1997, which happens to be where Malcolm Lee is. And you don't have to be a writer or anything to realize that they're probably coming after Malcolm. Okay, the prophet says we have to move, and it has to be a Ikea, that she has to be the one that's what's doing what needs to be done. And that's when we see that the Terminator that came crashing down in the beginning has infiltrated the base. It's in the watchtower. It kills the two people that are watching over to make sure everything's okay. Kills them, takes one of their coats so he can put the hoodie over so he can hide its metal pieces and all that, because it is the flesh part anyway is damaged. Next, which is a very interesting sequence that I really enjoyed. I really liked it in the cartoons with the making of the Terminator. They showed how putting the pieces together and how it's putting into this liquid with the flesh coming on. It's a very, very good sequence. If just to see that alone, it's worth seeing this episode. I thought it was cool, but it was also weird because when they're putting this Terminator together, it seemed to also go flashing back to Malcolm in the AI, where it kind of looks like he's seeing electronically that they're building a Terminator. Like it's like, you see the arm in one scene, and then 1997, you see the nerve endings of a hand forming. So I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know if it's clear. If it's clear to you, please put in the comments, because I don't think it was too clear to me what was going on when the Terminator and being created in 2022 and Malcolm in the AI room seeing a body being created. And then we see the Terminator walking down the hall with a bunch of other Terminators in stasis, I guess an army just waiting to be activated. Again, pretty cool. Gets into the time machine, and we see he's going to 1997, and surprise, surprise, we see his target is Malcolm Lee. So this is how we start off. Did I miss anything? And no, that is it. That is the end of the first episode, called Model 101 of Terminator Zero. So far, I like it. I enjoyed it. It has some things that make me a little worrisome. I don't um, I don't mind girl bosses if it's written well. The problem is lately they haven't been written well. We don't have any more of the Sigourney Weaver's Ripley, the Sarah Michelle Gellar's Buffy's, the Sarah Connor in the second one, or even the character of Darla from the Buffy and Angel series. Those are awesome characters, awesome female characters, awesome tough characters, and written extremely well. So I don't mind if we have a female leader, hero, and all that, just as long as they write it well. If they continue with the part that I had a problem with, where how she holding on with one hand, undoing her shoe while a Terminator's holding on, and a Terminator has to weigh a ton. Do you know? Right below. That seemed a little far fetched. Yeah, it's just a cartoon, but still, I can forgive a lot, but some things are just a little too far and just a little too impossible. Anyway, I'm going to continue watching the series. I did enjoy the first one. As far as the series is concerned, I had like I'm going to watch them and then make a review for you, which I'm probably going to release one out a day. But if you're a Patreon at the $5 level, I will release them all at once, so you can watch all my reviews into the Terminator Zero, or you can just wait day by day as I go through all of them. I'm going to try to get through all of them, but if it does take that turn into the woke girl boss that's better than everyone just because she's a girl, or those